Hello everyone, I'm Director Zhang Disha. It's a great honor to be invited to participate in this great event on the meaningful day of the Space Day of China. When I was a child, my grandfather forced me to recite the Tang poem and the Zone Relics. I remember a poem by Du Mu, a poet of the Tang Dynasty. It's called Autumn Eve. The stone steps in the palace are as cool as cold water in the night. The palace maid look up at the starry sky on the stone steps, watching the cohort and Vega in the sky. Later, I also remember another poem from the Book of Song. The three stars together are the waving sisters, and also through the stars, they finished their 7 stages. At that time, there was a rooftop at my home, and my grandfather pointed out to me and told me the story of a cohort and the waving maiden. When I recall it many years later, I found that this story, if that's there were not for 2 stories in the sky, would this story have been lost long ago? So I really find science fiction. I have read a lot of science fiction books since junior high school. I like Arthur Clarke, especially his 2001 A Space Odyssey. In the film work more than 50 years ago, the audience could find things like tablets, AI, unmanned-driven technologies, or our day-to-day scenarios. And also, I have the novels, is the A Foundation series, and also I saw an interview with Elon Musk. He also said that these books giving him a strong sense of mission, and that is why he founded SpaceX. When I read Mr. Liu Cixin's The Three-Body Problem, it really shocked me. We talk about there's a scene in China that when a person encounters a snake, try to hit the snake 7 inches, which means to hit the vital point of the snake. Then, what is the so-called 7 inches of a civilization? The answer from the novel is to hit the basic science. To lock up the civilization without the development of basic science is the same as giving this civilization a sailing. So another unique narrative of his science fiction is that he writes science fiction in the same way he writes history. He often sets up a person living in the future, and through this perception of looking back, he tells us a piece of human history. I realize that we don't need to surpass that classic works. That this book, the A Three-Body Problem, told me that we need to find a universe and also standing on the reality to find a room of space. In 2019, the release of The Wandering Earth ushered in the first year of Chinese science fiction films. The cumulative box office of science fiction film in the Chinese film market that year reached 19.511 billion yuan, with 3 science fiction films in the top 10 box office of the year, which was a very exciting start, different from the creative expression based on the nautical spirit in the Western science fiction movies we have seen before. The Chinese science fiction stories have very strong cultural symbols, and such as the homeland sentiment of taking the Earth to wander in the film The Wandering Earth, a harmonious world of when the aliens come, invite them to drink in the film of Crazy Aliens. In my opinion, this is an expression of science fiction and thinking about the universe that we as a great civilization with a long history in the East have given to the world civilization. Right now, my team and I are also working on a piece of film in the science fiction industry. We talk about that. We could see that the space technology and cosmic exploration in the real world and storytelling and filmmaking in the virtual world are intertwined in this process. I think that I was enlightened and found a wonderful connection between this small action in my science fiction film creation and China aerospace and the exploration of the universe. I believe this is a really connecting point. So I translated all these into the background of my growing up, and also to create the world that can understand I shared by mankind. And Mr. Xu Lai asked that what was the very first story of mankind after some research and even the astronaut's deduction. An answer came out. The first story was a story about the stars. 100,000 years ago, human ancestors in Africa made up a fairy tale called Seven Sisters Star they saw when they looked up into the sky. It was told from generation after generation at the campfire, accompanied by human beings through thousands of nights, passed down to children, to grandchildren, and then taken to vast parts of the world and integrated into the culture of different nations. Xu Lai finally said that this is the earliest story known to mankind now, and it is also the most amazing and grandest thing he has heard recently. This is a very touching story with a strong power that waves us together with our ancestors tens of thousands of years ago, with lives on Earth and celestial bodies in the vast universe, and with the ups and downs of human civilization. Many of the seemingly ordinary things our lives produce this ancient power. It makes us believe that people all over the world once told the same story. Thank you.